All right, guys, hello and welcome. Apparently the overlay is slightly off skew, but we'll fix that in just a second. I'm Zayden here with the one, the only Hindu joining me for the first game so far today. There we go, the video's back in place and all the things are getting fixed. There we go, everything, no one saw anything, production value, high quality stuff to get this day started. Hindu, how have things been for you lately?
Things have been fantastic, and today we get to see the top 8 teams of North America start facing off in the group stages. We're going to put 4 in each of the groups. They're going to play each other twice over 2 weeks, and the top 2 from each of those groups will move on to the final week where they have an opportunity to try and get themselves a shot at facing off against some of the SPL teams from the relegations. Indeed. Game 1 today is Yomi versus Lunatik Esports. And these two finished very, very close in the standings. Yomi finished with 135 points, Lunatik finished with 105, 4th and 5th, and they're going to face each other in this first group stage game.
Yep, they have faced each other before in the first 5 weeks of the open bracket play for the summer split. They went 2-0. Yomi were able to take victories both times they faced off against each other. So we'll see if that's going to be the occurrence again here today, or if Lunatik Esports can find their first win against this Yomi lineup. That said, picks and bans well underway at this point. Sylvanas Shibalanke removed from the table by Yomi. Lunatik Esports on the other side of things. Neath Bologna banned out. I'm a little surprised about that Neath ban, given the changes in the past week. Heartseeker was kind of reduced down a little bit in some of the other changes. There's been a bit of a shift, and with the Bluestone nerf as well. The Bluestone Heartseeker rush kind of isn't a thing in a lot of people's minds anymore.
But Neath still is a thing. The Heartseeker is still very strong on her. She has sustained because of it, because of her Unravel, as well as the power spike that she can do that global ultimate with the World Weaver and cause a lot of issues for the teams. And you can see that for the time being with that taken off, I'm surprised we don't see the 4 pick up. That's a very early Kuang pick already for Lunatik. Generally, we see an Kuang, but more than likely see an Agni go alongside it because it combines so well in the mid lane together.
Oh, without a doubt. The clear coming out early on, plus the gank potential of Kuang is one of those guys.
That's the reason.
A little bit of stealth that comes out. And of course, who doesn't love a giant dragon erupting from the middle of the map periodically through the game? But he also received a couple buffs about a month ago now. I think it's 30% heal, or is it scaling? I forget. It's about a 30% or so heal across all the levels when he goes up and executes somebody. Gave him a kind of nice, needed little buff to the fighting he can offer and the gank potential. Given the fact that his health pool I think it's actually one of the lowest in the game, if not the lowest.
Yeah, he's on the lower side of things, but he's got so much damage potential with that heal that he can now do. He can still reinitiate the fight after going into that giant dragon fall if he does manage to finally execute. So it's going to be up to Lunatik where they're going to pick next. They're hovering over Janus here, which is an okay pick. I don't feel like they've got the full combo potential that they could potentially have in mid, but it's going to be okay up against this Isis. Generally, you see an Agni pick there for the Kuang, but yeah. CC, you're looking for a strong CC team when you're picking up an Kuang generally. We'll see if it's going to be in the jungle, though. It could be potentially solo lane. I doubt it, though, but we have seen him in solo lane now and again.
Yeah, it does happen. Like I said, the health bar on him is my always real concern with it. You take one ability, especially early on, your laning can be pretty, I don't say ruined necessarily, but you're going to have a really rough time going forward. There's a Hou-Yi band coming out. He was buffed nicely the past week. Dive Bomb was reworked, and it's now sort of like a... I don't know, kind of a mini, I don't know what it, you pop up in the air, you hover there for a couple seconds, you can leap down a little bit further away, in a way almost similar to Sun Wukong's Somersault Cloud, with the exception of the fact that you don't get health regen while you're hanging up in the air.
I do see an Apollo possibly being picked up here by Lunatik Esports. I like the fact they banned the Hou-Yi because it put Yomi in a position where they're like, well, we have to ban a Hunter too. We don't want to give them priority on the Hunters. And so taking away Cupid is a big option. Cupid, one of these guys that will probably start sneaking his way back in once more just because he's going to have sustain in lane without the Bluestone anymore. He's going to have those share the love, which obviously gives him mana back. We're going to see a Medusa locked in by Lunatik. And maybe we'll see an Apollo. I'm not sure exactly what we're going to see here coming up.
Yeah, I don't know. Medusa still going to be a little bit of a menace in lane. The acid spray just kind of hitting the majority of the lane once it hits a minion. The poke potential is real with her, to say the least. She's sort of a caster-based god, though. She relies quite heavily on her abilities. I don't know, have you seen her played, or have you played her since the changes to Bluestone? Or Hunters in general. We talked about Cupid having the share the love to kind of get his mana pool back up. How much, in your opinion, has the switch back to Death's Toll affected the Hunters compared to having that Bluestone?
Yes, I think a lot of them have just been a little bit more safe with their mana consumption. Generally, what you're seeing from the death toll, though, is that you'll see the hunters that are prioritized on auto attacks are the ones that are going to start coming back into the meta a little bit more. Keep an eye out for Artemis potentially coming back into this sort of game at the moment, just because she's very auto attack focused and doesn't really use mana all that much. Maybe for a little bit for suppress the instant for wave clear, but if she can avoid doing that and just use those in hands, she could be actually quite effective, because mana is going to be a big situation now with the Bluestone changes as well as death toll being picked up. And the early power spike's always good in her too. Pick so far from Yomi, I really like their composition. It's a little bit of a mixture of everything. It looks like we could see that Batz going into the solo lane, however. And going to see Serqet in the jungle is what I expect here.
Yeah. Double assassins coming out from those guys. Not something we see too much these days. We went kind of through a warrior meta. We went through the hunters everywhere meta. Now it seems like assassins is what Yomi wants to be running. It will be interesting. Other than this side, they did lock in tier for their final pick, so they'll have a bit of a tankier lineup and some more displacement options later on. I'm almost interested they have an earlier game team comp for Yomi, but they definitely need to be looking to make use of those ganks and apply that pressure early on.
Yeah.
Because tier is gonna be tier. He's not quite the unkillable monster Hercules is, but he's still tier.
This is about making use of the Kuang more than anything else. We're going to see the Kuang pick up. With the Kuang being picked up here, look at the rest of the team. Every single one of them has hard CC that they can chain together to allow Kuang to get in there and annihilate targets. The best news for Kuang, there's only one target that he's not really going to try and burst down, and that's Athena. The rest of them are definitely killable very, very quickly. Yep. But he's the only real, I want to say he's the only real, killer on the team is Kuang. You're going to see Medusa there. Janus is going to do his thing, but he's generally not 100 to 0 sort of guy. You know, if he gets you to 100 to 0, it's generally because he hit you with through space of time as well, or you just took too much unnecessary poke. With Kuang, though, he's going to be the murderer. Keep an eye on him, and we'll see if Serqet, played by Kitakai, can actually get that going.
Yep, that is for sure. We'll be back here in just a little bit, guys, as the game gets underway. It's going to be Yomi versus Lunatik Esports for this first game out of Group A for the round-robin group stages. We'll be back in just a few. All right, guys, hello and welcome back. It is time for Yomi to face off against Lunatik Esports for this first match of the day. We're in the round-robin stages for the Challenger Cup. This is out of Group A, the second game on the bracket. I'm Zidon here with the one, the only Hindu man. It looks like Lunatik Esports, they might want to just drop down a ward, but they will certainly take a kill.
There's a ward.
If they can find one.
There's a ward there. Yomi dropped it early on. They saw this rotation coming out from Lunatik, who were looking for the level 1 fight. Doesn't surprise me to look for a level 1 fight when you've got a Ymir as well as a tier on your side as well, and the Fearless or the Freeze, or a combination of the two, and you'll probably find yourself a kill. Another one thing I want to know straight away is the Morning Star start on the Hunters. This is the patch recently released where the Hunters got changed. In terms of what their starting build may be with the nerf to Bluestone, we're actually seeing Transcendence Rushes coming out of the Hunters again.
I'm not sure how I'll feel about this in the long run of things. You lose a decent bit of sustain early on, which isn't admittedly too different from how we're seeing the Bluestone Heartstone pendant, Bluestone Heartseeker start the past couple of weeks. But nevertheless, it's just going to be interesting because it's a decent chunk of gold, but early on it doesn't really matter. And once that Heartseeker, or Transcendence rather, is online, it's extra mana regen, it's a lot of extra mana, and it's still the single highest physical power item in the game once those stacks are built up.
I think what we've actually seen is the Hunters are so used to not having the sustain in their kit because, like you said, they've been going Bluestone into Heartseeker. They're used to not having sustain in it. So actually having this build is actually giving them a little bit more sustain because they've got health potions to take with them. You can see Nevin and Fatal both have health potions and mana potions with them now because of this. So it's extra sustain for the laning phase. We did see Yomi actually start back Harpies here on both sides. So they're going to have a little bit of an experience lead in the early game. But once we see Caden rotate on this Kuang, then there's a chance for more experience. This is a big rotation. I thought they were going to rotate left then was Yomi in the middle lane, but they chose not to, which is good.
Yeah, I'm running the math through as well. It's 500 health off those health potions. Essentially 100 in-hand attacks from the Death Soul to actually equal that amount of life healing. So that's actually a pretty good number early on. You're not going to hit 100 in-hands really before you look to go back to base at some point in time, or it'll be more or less the same number. So actually, I really like the start. I haven't seen it come out quite so yet. Left lane, as things stand right now, Nevin took a decent little bit of poke in these early exchanges, but they're doing okay in the lane so far. Health potions still haven't been popped.
Yeah, everything seems fine for the time being. We can see the Serqet ISIS were trying to contest those back harpies there potentially. Not going to fight them for the time being. The only problem with this start from Yomi, and I've been seeing for these back harpy rushes, is that Serqet has to share experience with the mid laner a little bit more, and it also means it'll probably delay him hitting level 5 a little bit, but it does help out his solo laner in that Hun Batz, as he's not been there at all. So keep an eye on that Hun Batz. He might be able to find the kill up against the tier if he can hit 5 a little bit earlier on. One thing to note, Fino Evil, very, very good against the passive of tier.
Yeah, the fact here, while his passive does prevent any sort of crowd control effects from hitting it for longer than 1 second, Fear No Evil is applied multiple times as you're being run through it, so it lasts 1 second, it wears off, you get immediately affected by it again, so like it will work out quite well in that regard. It is tier though, so Gilly will have to be careful. You see right there, level 5 hit by Gilly. Zidra was already backing up. This did not want to get hit by that all in at level 5.
Yeah, going to play very, very safe there. You can't do anything else from that. We should actually see Yomi in the mid lane hit level 5 off this next wave coming in, so they're not going to be too far behind, actually. I was worried about the jungle being a little bit behind and the mid laner, but they should both hit 5 off this wave. Actually, no, we're going to see Serqet. Oh, yeah, they do. Ignore me. Serqet does finally hit it with Isis too, so everything's all square for the time being. Harpy's due up in about 20 seconds time as well, and we'll probably see a big rotation, as we already are, from Lunatik, both the dual laner coming over for these left-hand Harpies here.
We may have the first fight come out here in just a moment. We see some vision on that. Cobra's Kiss will connect on the Wretch. There's Defender of Olympus gets dropped in as well. Unstable Vortex finds damage. Defender of Olympus first blood. Support drops. Unrelinquished finds that one.
Well, Apollo's down as well, and they're going to look for Fatal as well with the follow-up. He does have to lacerate away. Caden's around the Harpies. He's going to try and honk these to bring him down to give himself some HP. Lawbringer comes over the top of his entry into a triple Fearless combo. But where's the follow-up? No one's really got anything. Gilly on the backside, though. The monkey is here.
Yep, he's in the middle of this one right now. Can they look for the re-engage? He's getting focused down right now by the Lunatik Esports lineup. Looking to somersault over the wall. Will be able to do so. That fight was looking beautiful for a turnaround for Lunatik Esports. The through space and time clipped a number of people, but the problem became mana bars were just empty on the side of Lunatik. They really could not have looked to follow that up too much more than they already did there.
I did like Yomi's play. Like they committed fully with the level 5s on the side to just fully burst down the Ymir as quick as possible. They did take him out. The rest of the team weren't really level 5 just yet to be able to like ping in and get the advantage back for themselves. Hombass's rotation was very, very good. Couldn't follow up any more than that. He was more of a disengage than anything else to make sure his team got out clean. And the mid Harpies went, the left ones did go in favor of Lunatik there though, but Yomi did get that first blood.
Yep, so a nice little bit of extra gold in the back of that one as well. That was probably the best, most ideal pick. The problem, and I almost said problem, sorry, but Lunatik, I mean, they were able to secure mid lane actually. Met Yankee almost finding a kill. That reach passive had that connected. Caden may have ended up falling. That's part of the problem with Kuang. That health bar is so low that even running into the enemy support in a 1v1 situation could potentially spell your demise in a very short bit of time. But I believe both those Harpy camps did end up going to Lunatik Esports. Take a look at the graph, quick peek at that. I think they went 1-for-1 actually. So
it did go for 1-for-1. We did see, Caden pick up those left ones to give himself the heal from the Bumper's Mask, and also try and get his teammates that level 5, which they desperately needed to try and turn that fight around. So speed buff actually stolen away there by Kai over on this right-hand side by Yomi. So a nice little advantage there after forcing Kuang away. Tiz's going to do his blue buff right now. But Yomi's starting to get a small lead based off these small wins.
Yeah, I mean, every little bit will help. I mean, things are going to be pretty stable here until the next Harpy spawn in just about 1 minute and 15 seconds or so. It will be rough. I mean, the team fight compositions early on, the double assassins, they're at the point where they can start to look to apply a lot of damage to these guys. It's not just going to be a straight up, we can rely on that extra frontline tier to actually be in the middle of a fight. He's going to have to walk across the map. There's no second actives quite yet. We might see that whole, well, I pick up teleport, then Batz can look to pick up teleport as well, but he'll want beads. I don't know, there's some interesting interactions that can happen in that regard, but like you said, Yomi for the moment have a small lead. We'll see if they can make use of it as the next fight breaks out here in a little bit.
Well, Transcendence finished on both sides for the two Hunters as well, so they'll be stacking that up nicely for themselves. One change, obviously compared to a Heartseeker. You don't lose those stacks when you die, so that's going to give them plenty of mana, plenty of extra damage online for themselves as well. As you were saying, it's one of the most high damaging items in the game once it is fully stacked, and so we'll probably see that get put to use by both these two Hunters.
What do you think they're going to end up building into next on the back of this one? Executioner was brought down a little bit. The attack speed on that was lowered. Ichival, same thing. Attack speed was lowered on that.
I mean, Assy could be an option, but just because of the lifesteal. You generally, when you go for a Transcendence, you want some form of lifesteal. Where are you going to head for lifesteal? Well, it's only really Devour's Gauntlets, or it's going to be Assy or Bloodforge. Like, they're the kind of three you see. Maybe a Soul Eater too, but it's probably going to be an Assy. I expect to see an Assy potentially come out just for the lifesteal that they're going to need, or they just go for the full power build and go straight, like you said, straight into an Executioner or an Inkval combo.
Yeah, well, both Harpy camps in mid lane were just taken down, so we're actually going to cut to a very brief break here, guys. Sort the audio sound issues out, and we'll be back here in just a moment. It was a patch this time. It changed stuff around, and the client said, you know what, I don't actually want to have sound after you corrected the correct audio output. So, guys, we'll be back here in just a moment as soon as we restart the client and get back into the game. Alright guys, sorry about that. We dragged Hindu out of the bathroom, so he no longer sounds like he's echoing because, well, he's sitting on the toilet the entire time he's casting. So we're back. The audio should all be working. There might be a fight breaking out here. There's people kind of grouping up right now. Zidru, almost getting caught, able to avoid getting caught in that portal, however.
Good little poke onto Zidru. Great freeze coming out from Ymir. That's going to force the Fear No Evil and the Circle Protection. Hombat's not going to find the kill, but on the backside, the Petrify comes out from Fatal. And that's going to force them back once more. It looks like Caden wants to try and chase in this Kuang with Janus in support. Can they find something?
Oh, the execute potential was there. He was below the threshold, but Kiteki was able to get just far enough away. Nevin will bring him down for trying to give chase and lock that kill. Left side of the fight, Matt Yankee, though, gets brought down by Jeremy with the help of a bit of a glacial strike coming out from Ratcheteer on that one. Gold Fury getting pulled right now. No lifesteal presence. They could potentially look for the steals as health bars on Lunatik Esports are pretty low.
They need to just keep this baited out for the most part. They're going to try and burst this. Great use of the ultimate from Ymir to try and burst this one lower. Can they get the hog off in time? Overhand smash comes out. They get the Gold Fury, but they're going to lose one life. And Serqet and Apollo are here to clean up crew.
Kiteki chases down and kills off Medusa in the backside of the fight. Now Zidru trying to do what he can against 3. He'll find a Lawbringer onto 1, but immediately start to look to disengage this fight. Lunatik got the Gold Fury, but a couple kills going to Yomi means the XP and the gold gain from that Gold Fury pickup, not quite what it would have been otherwise.
No, it's not as bad. It's not as good as it could have been, but it worked out well for Yomi. Lunatik Esports made the right call going for the Gold Fury. They were going to lose lives for that Gold Fury, but they did manage to bring the gold even for a moment or two. They were starting to slip behind, as you could see by the charts. Just the kills that followed up just gave them the experience lead once more.
So Matt Yankee hanging around by these right side Harpy camps. They're going to be spawning for a little while, just chilling, waiting for the next wave of minions to actually get down the lane so we can share some of that particular experience and gold love as sports oh so badly moved from across the map. Looking at the other items coming out, though. Nothing really standing out right now. Traveler's Shoe still getting picked up by both the supports. With that gold pickup from that Gold Fury, that Ratcheteer able to pick up that Iron Mail. Not quite a sovereignty, but a little bit of extra health and protections will help out when they possibly fight over these mid-harpies in just a couple moments.
Well, so it's going to be quite tanky up against this Hombatz now as well. Gilly's going to have to be very careful in this lane. Mystical Mail finish there, so he can easily just continue to poke him down and not take too much in response from the damage output of Gilly, who's actually got that Jotun's Wrath being worked on right now. Hunter's having a little bit of a difference here, but Fatal might get aggressed on here. Taunt not going to be found by Met Yankee, but checking with the Hunters, you can see the boots being worked on by Fatal there and across the way. Nevin actually working on that Light Blade. Could be going for the Assy, could be Executioner. We'll find out soon as Harpies on the right are going to be contested.
Actually be an interesting trade-off in that regard. The Warrior Tabi that Medusa will likely be, the Fatal rather, will likely be picking up. Will just give that poke and abilities coming with Medusa that much more extra damage. But the sustain will be lacking. Right side Harpies fight breaking out right now. 2 caught in the portal. There's Circle Protection dropped on down.
Yep, Circle Protection is brought from down. Gilly comes in with the Fear No Evil as well. The Ymir is going to force them back, but around the back comes Kiteki as well as the through space and time gets connected across the skies. Comes out from Nevin. He managed to help secure the kill. That's so beautiful. Meanwhile, Janus does manage to chase down, but not find a kill. Now he's going to get caught out the backside as Serqet is there to bring him down. The team of Yomi grouped together, just leaving Isis to zone out the remaining 2 members of Lunatic. Now the taunt connects to.
Yeah, Fatal takes a little bit of poke, was not pulled all the way back into that shield wall, will survive the overall engagement in that one. Giving chase, lacerating forward, eats a Spirit Ball, trying to find the kill on Unrelinquished, but Kiteki comes around, lands that Cobra's Kiss, and that is a very, very dead snake. In the battle of the snake and the scorpion, that particular instance, the scorpion won out.
And Yomi now really controlling this game. I mean, they lost their Gold Fury, but they've won that fight in spades overall. It was a great rotation from both the Hunters, just to point out as well. Honestly, Medusa got there very, very quickly to Fatal, considering he was up against Nevin on that Apollo. They both arrived pretty much the same sort of time, but Yomi just picked their targets correctly and brought them down fantastically during that engagement, time and time again. So Yomi coming out in top. They did steal away that blue buff too, which is important for just continuing to extend their lead.
Yep, right side blue buff getting dropped on the floor soon. As Gilly's able to make his way over there, he'll be picking that one up to refresh that timer. Zidru, like you said earlier, has that mystical mail. He's not too worried about Gilly right now because any sort of back and forth engagement will kind of go in Zidru's favor between the protections and the extra damage from that mystical mail. Plus the sustaining kit. Gilly can look to do cheeky stuff like teleporting in on the back of Sacred Monkey, but the kind of all-in kill potential from Gilly in a 1v1 versus Zidru right now really kind of is gone.
And there's, you can actually see it on the two hunters now. It was an Assy picked up by Apollo, by Nevin. He's going to be going for that option. It's not surprised to see him get some sort of lifesteal. You generally want that on the hunter at some point if you're going to go for a Transcendence build. Or even the Heartseeker. We're going to see the Assy come out. Meanwhile, though, Fatal did opt for the Warrior Tabby. He's going to be interested to see where he heads up next with his build.
Assy would still definitely be an option. You still want to have some sort of lifesteal in the kit.
That's right.
Devourer's Gauntlet's double stacking. It's one of those kind of back and forth type things, but still, you get the item and then you have to start building the stacks, kind of even that up.
Might be in a bit of trouble over here if the blink comes out from Ymir. It is available. Going to use the wall. Great mez to prevent the freeze, actually. Actually, the freeze came out at the same time as the mez and across this guy's force, but mid lane, they did find a kill.
Yep, on the back of what looked to be a taunt by Met Yankee, locking down and killing Caden on that Kuang. Yeah, I don't know. The items, talking about Medusa still, the life still coming out. Devourer's Gauntlets could be an option for double stacking, but you have to build those stacks up. Bloodforge, I'm still not a fan of the item. You have to get those stacks up every single fight. It's not hard to do necessarily, but it's a suboptimal item next to Devourer's Gauntlets. But again, stacks don't become a consideration. The Assy pickup as a third item could still very well be a possibility. It's still really, really good despite the nerf as well.
This rotation from Zedru from solo lane has just given up his tower for this rotation here. They didn't manage to find anything off this either. Like, he's not got harpies or anything. He's just hanging around, not going to find the right ones either. Gilly does manage to bring down that solo tower for free, and the harpies are just shared equally. So Zedru just, I'm not sure why he gave up that tower. The rotation didn't work out for him.
I don't know. Curious in that. They might have been just looking for rotation, looking for a fight. Defender Olympus
Nevin in trouble. Gonna have to get dunked with the Defender Olympus. They're gonna look for the Tom, but great Petrify coming out. So beautiful as well. And that Assy was gonna start kicking in as meanwhile the backside Serqet does find Kuang and force through space and timeout away from Jeremy on that Janus. And now the Gold Fury can be started.
That was a lot spent on the defense as well as trying to just save Caden's life, which again did not survive the fight. Circle Protection dropped down, looking for that burst damage but secure. That Gold Fury is gonna be going the way of Yomi as the fight does start up. Rasheteer gets brought down immediately while he's looking for that steal. Great
work by Zedru, though, to get a triple Fearless and pick up a kill. He's going to go down in trade for it, though, and it's not going to work out well for him as it's now a 3-for-1 trade and a Gold Fury in favor of Yomi. As they continue to extend their lead, they can group up mid here and start to try and pressure this tier 1 towers. There's not many people to try and defend here.
Yeah, they only have the 2 Archer minions left. They'll die in a couple of hits. Jeremy could clear those out pretty much instantly with the Unstable Vortex, so the tier 1 tower can't be pushed quite yet. That's not to say they can't look for damage or a kill. Met Yankee with Gilly leaping over that wall, not gonna be looking, or finding that kill rather. Forcing beads, actually. Jeremy coming out victorious overall in that little bit of engagement that Yomi were looking for.
Yeah, he had to use beads there. He didn't really have an opportunity to do anything else because if he got hit by the Unstable Vortex, he could have potentially died because of it. If there was any sort of follow-up from the team coming in, like Kuang chasing him down as well. So, has to be careful of that. Lunatic, though, going to lick their wounds for the time being, but their wounds are starting to actually open up into gaping sores because it's 9,000 experience and 4,500 gold now, and only 15 minutes in. For a game where these two teams, technically, when you look at how the games have gone so far between them in terms of like what position they finished in, 4th and 5th, Yomi have their number. I mean, you said these two have met twice before, and Yomi did come out twice already on top.
Yeah, also just looking at the overall season records, both teams, Yomi played 16 games, Lunatic played 17. So, and both teams won 11 of those games. So it's not like a case of one of these teams was like running away with the competition during the actual Challenger Cup. So, yeah, Yomi just seemed to have, looking at this game in particular, the Lunatic Esports team fights, they seem to be a little bit scattered, and they just keep getting, split up in team fights, and just Yomi, just focus them down one by one, and, 1 or 2 fall, it's just cleanup after that.
Well, let's see what they can do now, can Yomi, because they're swinging around the left-hand side at the moment. Taunt from Fatal comes out. Sorry, Taunt onto Fatal comes out from Met Yankee. Mid lane, though, you can see a rotation again from Isis. Spirit Ball does connect over the wall, and Jeremy goes down. And Caden can only just stand there, eat some Wingus, and has to use the illusion to get away from that circle of protection, but around the left-hand side.
Yep, Cobra's Kiss is back up. They can find the Taunt. Good wall coming out from Rasheteer on that one, saving the lives of not only himself, but Fatal as well, potentially. So Steel's coming out of the jungle right now. They don't want this to happen, but there really may not be much they can do about it right now.
Yomi realize they're ahead now, and they're trying to just abuse the situation of the fact that they've got this golden experience lead by rotating around the map as a pack, looking for picks, and then pressuring towers down when it becomes available. Good taunt onto Ymir, into the Spirit Ball, overhand smash comes out, Lawbringer forced, but it's not going to do anything as Caden falls down thanks to the Fear No Evil as well. Great triple, Fearless, but he's in trouble.
Yep, he may survive Spirit Ball. Won't connect. Nevin looking to give chase
Nevin,
across the
Nevin,
sky is under the tower. That's a
so.
long channel time. The tower had that kill for sure. Taunt does connect on two. They're looking for a little bit of follow-up damage. This one fatal to eat in a few wing gusts, but able to lacerate back to safety. This, it's going to be mid-heartbeat call because they have just respawned.
Yep, never fight for Yomi though. They get 2 kills. They lose Nevin. They get a tier 1 tower as well, and both mid harpies. So even though they did bite off a little bit more than they could chew, then they still came out on top and continue extending their lead. It's all good stuff.
Nevin just dove a little too hard on that one. We see it from every single team at some point in time. You want that kill. The greed is really a chase. You dive under the tower. You tank the tower as the hunter, which is like the last thing you want to be doing. And sometimes you just pay for it. One thing to note,
Hi-5, we're the favourites. They're the #1 seed. They're in this half of the group as well, along these two teams. And it'll be fun to see what Yomi can actually do here up against them, because Yomi are looking very, very strong here. They're looking, people had them down as the second team to actually come out this group stage alongside Hi-5. But I'm very looking forward to that game between those two later on today.
Yeah. Hi-5 will actually have to see how those games play out, because collectively with the entire rest of the group, Hi-5 is sitting 7-0 with all the other 3 teams. So we'll have to see. The teams are definitely going to be looking to take some games off these guys, but will Hi-5 let them? That's going to be the question.
Well, best of ones. Fear No Evil on the right side. He's forced onto Zedrum. Not going to find the kill, though, as he still has that Mystical Mail and now Runeforged Hammer completed. He's a very tanky target to try and bring down. They're generally going to be looking for Isis to try and burst down this tier right now.
Taunt connects on to Jeremy mid lane. Spirit Ball coming as well for the double stun. Circ protections drop down through the wall. Jeremy says, I am out of here very, very quickly, good sir. So disengage will occur left side. Nevin using this opportunity to push Fatal back under his tower. Getting a little bit of damage onto it, and other than that, not much really happening at this particular moment.
Serqet's coming over, but I don't think she's going to be able to find the kill against him here, especially with the rotation coming out from Lunatic as well. I think she was also looking for the speed buff, and that's what she's hanging around for here. She's got a ward down. Spirit Ball does not connect from unrelinquished in mid lane, but they might be able to find Zedru again.
Yeah, Zedru's looking to go back and forth. The last breath is applied. That poison's ticking away. Lawbringer going to be forced over the wall just to make sure he can get out safely. Now the rest of the team looking to secure this speed buff.
Risky.
Help Caden get back into this one. Spirit Ball looking for the steal a little early.
A little bit early, left-hand side though. They're going to look for Fatal under the tower. Met Yankee and Nevin try to trade out and keep this minion wave pushing through space, and time gets channeled and fired off though, and Jeremy's here. Met Yankee's in trouble, has to ult away.
Yep, Defender of Olympus, great as an escape, although maybe not always what you want to use it for, but keeping your support alive is a good thing, especially as the Gold Fury had just respawned. Level though, and the gold going to start being a factor. Look at the levels of some of these guys right now. The jungler 4 levels behind, support 2 levels. I mean, it's going to start really being an issue as fights start to break out more and more.
Is going to live from the Fear No Evil, but Ymir's caught out of position. The freeze saves him for the time being. Nevin, though, is getting hit in the back by Caden on this Kuang. Uses the bees to prevent the ultimate coming out, and unrelinquished gets the kill with the circle of protection. And now they're looking for more onto Fatal, who gets taunted during the lacerate, and the Wingus brings him down.
As Zidra was able to push Nevin back under the tower and find a kill finally to answer one back, but this tier 1 tower is about to fall. Serqet using all those mobility abilities to chase Jeremy, not quite able to lock him down. Zidra 1v4 happily right now, just staying alive and doing what tier does, but they're looking to lock this down. Ratchet coming in Frost Breath, saving his life for the time being. Zidra will be able to withdraw from this engagement safely. If Zidru is here for these fights, they would go so much differently, but the problem is he's just getting there just after the fights are starting out, which is what you expect out of a solo laner. And that little bit of a brief period when he's not there is all Yomi are needing to find these first couple of kills in these fights.
Well, Harpy's left. They're going to go over to Gilly. Right one's still available. Gold Fury also hope that Yomi could look to try and siege down with this 13,000 experience lead and 6,500 gold. Lunatic have to try and make a play soon, because if they don't, they're just going to continue to lose towers, hemorrhage kills, and fall further behind. They have to make a play for the Gold Fury of the Fire Giant, and they've got to make it sooner rather than later, because they just can't hold on if they keep it up at this pace.
Yeah, the bleed is definitely real. You can see that on the graph. It's just gradually going further and further towards the Yomi side of it. So, I mean, looking for a way back into this one, I think the Gold Fury, like you said, is going to be the real next point of contention. If they can keep a 5-man grouping going over here and have Zidru present for the start of a fight, it could be a big deal with that lack of magic resistance. One Wing Gust just took down a third of his health bar.
So, Lunatik sieging up the Gold Fury, having to defend mainly against Yomi, while Gilly does actually manage to find something on the left. Fatal does get taunted, though, on this left-hand side, and they're forcing the Petrify, avoided thanks to the last breath coming out from the Kite Kai on that Serqet, but the Fearless combo was so good!
Dragon not quite coming out right now. Is Caden's going to look for a second one? There's the Dragon finally coming out of this one. Who's he going to go back in on? Are they going to look for it? Apollo giving chase, looking for Jeremy, the backside of this fight. He could go for it, waiting for it. There's the portal, Aegis effect.
Patient.
Not going to go for it. Go for it.
No, instead, going to go for the Gold Fury. Instead, the Transcendence allows Apollo to stay in the air for a long period of time and still have the mana for it, as well as getting now here as well. The Fatal Evil going to go off and look for the damage onto Zedru. Is Nevin trying to keep him busy? Fearless Chain does not hit to Serqet. Meanwhile, getting on the backside, trying to chase on onto Ymir. Nevin comes in looking for the in-hands to force Caden away, which happens. But the Gold Fury stands, and now Janus is on his way back to this game too. 10 seconds on Met Yankee. He's going to have the Defender of Olympus available to return to this fight. Caden's hunting him now.
Oh, he definitely is. They're going to find two very, very low health. Our Storm Call comes on now for a lot of damage. Water Illusion to chase. If he can get in range and lock this kill down, Jeremy able to secure with the Unstable Vortex, but Met Yankee drops down from the skies. Paraceltus to the face of the dragon. Ended his life.
Gold Fury has been started. Fatal coming in as Serqet going aggressive onto Jeremy with the full combo. Beads force, but he can't go through the portal of your bead, Sunshine. You're going to poison your way through into a danger, as Nevin was there waiting in the wings. Serqet actually going to get credit for that kill thanks to the poison. Gold Fury going to go to Yomi again, and still the fights are in their favor.
Yep, it's these little picks they keep finding. Recalling on a ward, not generally a good thing. The Lawbringer, or Fearless, actually missing on that one. Was that Beads first out? No, that was just missing.
That wasn't Beads. No, that wasn't Beads. He hit the Fearless in the wrong direction. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Like, he had to pick a direction at half a second interval. He was very unlucky with it, actually. I'd be disappointed for him, because I would be upset by that one. It was just unfortunate.
That likely would have been a kill otherwise. Even Serqet with her 4 million escape abilities, you can't use them mid knockback and with Beads down. She probably would have been dead between the Fearless into the Power Cleave for the extra knockup. So,
well,
Zidru
Hunter's right now. Hunter build, what we see from both of these is Transcendent, Assy, Warrior Tabby, Executioner so far is what the order of the day seems to be from the Hunters during this game. So keep an eye on your games going forward. Maybe give it a go yourself as well, and keep an eye on the pro players. This is what this all going to be about, is what is the Hunter meta going to be? What is the build going to be going forward now that Bluestone has had those changes to it?
Yeah, I think Transcendence start with the Charge Morningstar, or going for the Death's Toll Devourer's Gauntlet. It's kind of the safer start. Will kind of be the story of the day going forward. Just comes down to like personal preference. How do you want to play the lane out? Transcendence, though, is interesting because it's basically that mana per 5 and increased mana pool. Frost Breath finds 2 right side of the jungle. However, Jeremy Portal through the wall. Even in situations that Lunatik Esports are finding the initiation of these fights, Yomi just turned it around.
Jeremy's going to go down to Nevin through the across the sky, but meanwhile Serqet did stay in too long, and now Kuang picks up the kill. Will he re-engage? No, he will not. They're going to play that safe as right-hand side. Zedru did bring down that tier 1 tower, push out the way, but the re-engage with the Fatal Evil is off, and already Ymir has gone down to Nevin. Now Fatal has to lacerate himself away. Tier is on the way, but it's a little bit too late for that. It's a 2-for-1 exchange once again in favor of Yomi.
Yeah, they're playing this pretty well. Gilly, he took down that tier 1 tower much earlier in the game. We saw Zidru kind of just let that one go. And since then, Gilly has pretty much not been in that soul lane at all.
Well, they baited in Zedru on this right-hand side now, and he's probably going to go down before he can get away. Lawbringer was forced but not able to be executed. Caden does manage to get away from that silence just in time, and now the Fire Giant is going to begin from Yomi here. Respawn on Serqet means that she should be here up and alive in time before this gets brought down. If they do this well, no one from Lunatik Esports able to contest this one. They're going to actually do the fire before Serqet can get alive, just for the safety factor.
Run across the map, Water Illusion to get away just a little bit more quickly. The Fire Giant buff now being online for the almost entire lineup of Yomi. Kentucky not going to have that same luxury. The Siege is going to be on. There's 3 tier 2 towers sitting on the map. Let's face it, they're almost never defended at the best of times, never mind when you're this far behind, like Lunatik Esports currently is. They can look to go back to base, spend some gold. There's 6,000 free gold, or excuse me, 4,500 free gold sitting on the map if they want to go for it. They can look for kills. Jeremy getting caught by the taunt and the shield wall. Bede's going to dodge that Spirit Ball stun.
Yeah, he just pulled through the wall, but now he's not going to be able to back up his reinforcements. Great dash in from Nevin to force the Mez and get Beads off of Fatal as well. Around the backside is coming Met Yankee again. As the focus is on Ymir once again. Circle of protection, pop the poison, has finished ticking, but Met Yankee's there, will find the kill, and he's tanky enough to be able to just force the rest of the members away. In the jungle, however, Kuang's trying to swing around, but the minions came with him, and now Gilly is going to find him.
Yep, there's Zidru as well. Can he find that Fearless to actually lock him down? For now, it's a little bit of a back and forth slap fight. We didn't see in the soul lane at all because the Assassin Warrior combo, you really don't want to do that slap. We saw a little bit of it there. Fatal gets caught by the Spirit Ball, locked down and picked up by Unrelinquished. Zidru is here. He's been really the big changing factor in these fights. They could potentially look for something here, but they really don't have much damage sitting here in lane.
For me, Nevin has just been hitting these Serenades over and over again on Apollo at the prime opportunities, cancelling out Ymir freezes, cancelling out the Fearlesses coming out from Zedru as well. And when he needs to, he's been doing the damage as well. But the big talking point for me is definitely going to be Unrelinquished on this Isis. He's played fantastically throughout this game and continued to just keep, look at that, 9, 1, and 10 right now, involved in the majority of these kills. And top player damage at 22k.
Definitely sitting high up there for an early mid-game god. Unrelinquished has been playing this Isis very well as we start to transition towards the mid-late game. Mid-Phoenix, not quite brought down. Gilly was picked off over there. So far it's only tier 2 towers down for Yomi. That Fire Giant buff is whittling down here. They have about 2 minutes left on it, but with it's only still on 3 more members. Ratchet gets caught by the taunt, damage raining out as well. Circle protection plus an in-hand from Nevin secures that kill.
And Caden's going to have to back away as well. 4 speeds. The Petrified does hit from Fatal into the pawn to Met Yankee, but that is a tank. It's going to be hard to bring down as Nevin going to lifesteal up using that Assy. Not found the so beautiful for the time being. Meanwhile, mid lane, Serqet going to be focusing that Phoenix as Fatal 4 speeds runs away. Nevin in trouble, going to get executed. And now they might try to re-aggress onto Unrelinquished, but the double Spirit Ball annihilated them. The dunking from Caden, he's going to do what he can, but it's not going to be enough as Zedru turns up.
Yep, Caden finds that kill on Unrelinquished. Can they once again turn us around? Mid-Phoenix did fall as the fight does continue. Zidru, he's not going to be falling in this particular fight. He's going to be able to back off safely. Lunatik Esports held on fairly well against Yomi in that they lost to Phoenix in the mid lane. They lost 2 tier 2 towers. That could have been a lot worse than it actually was. Lunatic were never actually brought down. Yomi were never actually able to find a full-on committal to a fight. They're still a little concerned about fully engaging under those Phoenixes.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why, but at the same time, this is just like Yomi slowly just putting the pressure on over and over again. They've got a gold lead, a huge gold lead. They've got a huge experience lead too. Still no member on Lunatic Esports is level 20. Meanwhile, across the way, guess what? The whole team is level 20. So you're fighting up against it. Your Phoenix in mid lane's down. Maybe you're winning the skirmishes for the most part, fine, but you're still losing Phoenixes off it as well. As Zedru and going to catch out Met Yankee and Serqet together. The freeze is going to connect on Met Yankee. He's not got ultimate. They could actually pick him here if they know what they're doing. Good wall. No, it is. Yes, it is. Just in time, but he's going to be able to dash away. But guess who else is here? Apollo was here just in case they needed it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they weren't looking to fully commit to killing Met Yankee in that situation. Serqet was still nearby. Apollo has that ultimate. He's still flying around. Just because you have Transcendence and you have all that mana doesn't mean you should be up there for. There we go. It's not a match of the day. Drop down. Jeremy going to be able to pour through a wall, but the poison still ticking. Will fall on that one.
Nevin's going to live barely as the Lawbringer comes out from Zedru. The blink from Ymir, not going to find what they were after, which was Nevin. Right hand side, Gilly is trying to bring down the tower, finds it up against Caden on this Kuang, who has to back away, both with Medjai's available. Round the back comes Fatal, however. Meanwhile, left hand side, I think he's found it, but the fight over and right goes to Fatal, thanks to the help of his rotation there. But meanwhile, Yomi still pressuring towers. Sorry, Phoenixes.
Yeah, Caden did a pretty good job catching back up in this game. Earlier on, the level difference was pretty big. It's now down to 1. And you can just look, right before Kateki had hit level 20, it was basically just like a 1.5, 2 level difference at that point. So he's done a good job finding the kills. He has the items starting to come online finally. Kuang, he's kind of an in-hand based assassin mage. And without those items early on, we saw the the Shoes of the Magi, the Bancroft's Talon. I think the ideally kind of the more I just want to kill people build is that Telekines early on because you're attacking so quickly. With the dragons from his storm, from his 2 applied as well, he just rips people apart. It's only really now that Caden's starting to get to the point where he can start dishing out that damage quickly like he's wanted to do all day long.
Oh, Gold Fury gets dropped for Yomi, just extending that gold lead a little bit more. Right hand side, we'll see Kai just clear up that blue buff, as well as the siege for the Fire Giant should begin soon from Yomi, more than likely. This Phoenix in mid lane has about another minute and a half left before it respawns as well, so someone's going to stay and defend that one. Fatal pushing out this left hand side, and I'm surprised that we see Yomi like not go straight for the Fire Giant, and we didn't see Lunatic push out for this Fire Giant a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I don't know. Mid lane, it won't be too bad to deal with. It is right near the Fire Giant, so actually keeping those Firemans at bay won't be too bad. They might look to start it up now as the wards come down. They look to counter ward and remove vision from the Fire Giant pit. We'll see how they look to play this one out. They're going to try and look for a bait here initially, but Lunatic Esports having none of it. They're coming in right now, but the Fire Giant is dropping rapidly.
I don't know what they're going to be able to do against this because the Fear No Evil's available as well. There it is being used. Lawbringer gets used by Zedru. Zedru gets the Fire Giant, but he may pay with his life unless he can get to that portal. No, he will not. There's Ymir as well with the freeze and the petrify combination. They're focusing targets well. A Yomi though, and they turn their attention straight to that Kuang, and now they're still grouped up together looking to fight.
Lunatik bought time they very much need. The question is, can they get out? They all fall here. Will not have been worth it. The damage coming across right now. Jeremy caught out. Maggie trying to lock him down backside of this fight. Gilly looking to chase on Ratchets. Nevin finds Fatal on the backside.
Oh, Nevin versus Fatal was a crazy fight, and it looks like Ymir will go down to the overhand smash as well. It's only Jeremy left for his team. He gets a great unstable vortex off. Good pull through the wall, but the jump from the monkey from Gilly, followed by the overhand smash, will cause the deicide, and that should be game as there's a fire minion wave coming up the middle lane with them here, Zide, and they can end all 5 members alive. Yomi are going to take game 1 in the group stage.
Yep, they played this one quite well. They got off to a strong early game start. Looking at the lineups compared to what we've seen the past couple weeks, I was not at all sure about how this whole double assassin lineup was actually going to end up playing out for these guys. That said, they seem to make pretty good use of it. They got some early game pressure going, and they played it quite well. Like I said, I was a little concerned early on. It seems to have worked out for them.
It doesn't. That's a really good win for Yomi going into this one because now they're going to have to deal up next. They're going to be against KOS Gaming. We'll see how that one plays out for them because then finally they'll have to deal with High Five, the favourites from this Group A matchup as well. Guys, we'll be bringing you one game from each of the rounds to accept, but we're going to do both games in round 1 just to show you both sides of the coin of all the teams involved and each of these groups this week and then give you an understanding. So make sure everybody gets at least to be seen once or twice. Great performance though from Yomi. They deserve to be in the position they're in right now, top of the shop in the table for the time being. How long will that last though, Zaiden? We'll find out.
Yeah. We'll be back here in just a few minutes, guys, with the second match of the day. Stick around. We'll have that for you in just a few.